back.
Yeah, now
Yeah,
it
so I
says
think
it's
it's
live.
so hello guys, we are back on a session again with Fast and Up, live with Fast and Up. We are running a campaign these days where we are looking at the mental side of things, where people have really gone through a very difficult period, and we are hoping and looking at what are the things that people are going through and how they are recovering from it. Heal, pray, love is what we are hoping and aspiring for. So we have been talking to a few of the athletes out here who have been into running, into cycling, into various other sports. And today, I have a friend of mine, in fact, Mahesh Iyer. In fact, my interaction with him goes all the way back to 2011 or 12 when I used to be in Pune. We used to run quite a bit with him those months, those years. And post that, Mahesh has actually gone ahead and become a strong cyclist. He's one of the regulars in the Masters, winning a few times. Uh, Also, is instrumental in getting together a group of cyclists in Pune under the name of Wolfpack. They've got some genuinely talented guys out there, uh, and cycling in many of the events across the country. Some of them even competing, I believe, in the nationals. So
That's right.
Mahesh, welcome to have you here.
Yeah, thanks so much, Vijay, for that introduction, and thanks for having me on the show. Talk a little bit about my journey, especially now during the pandemic times. My own experience with that. So look forward to talking a little bit about that.
Great, Mahesh. And Mahesh is also one of the athletes who has gone, in fact, through the difficult period of the COVID.
Yeah.
And in today's session, roughly around 30 minutes, we look at what he went through, how he is recovering, what are the things that he has been careful about, his insights into the journey. And I think there will be a lot of things that Mahesh would like to talk about. In fact, I've had a discussion with him 10 to 15 days back when he was sharing a lot of very interesting things. So Mahesh, we will get on to that. And for the
Sure.
viewers, if you want to ask any questions, this is going live over Facebook and YouTube on the Fast and Up channel. So if any of you have questions, please do put them onto the chat box, and we will be happy to take it up. So Mahesh, just to get started, what is this wolf pack about?
Yeah, so I'll talk a little bit about my journey and the question that you raised about the team. I'll be covering or talking about that. But to get started, I'll talk about how I got started into cycling. This goes back to 2008 when I got my first cycle, and the idea back then was just fitness. I wanted to get fit basically, and I ended up buying a mountain bike. This was way back in 2008, and then I remember, I still remember the day I bought the cycle. I had to just from the shop to the house, it was just 4 kilometers. And after about 2 kilometers, I was just completely out of breath. And I was like, man, this is a big mistake. I don't think I'm cut out for this. But then, over time, I sort of increased my mileage. The weekend rides got longer and longer. And eventually, I, dabbled with some, endurance or sort of long distance rides. They're called breves, 200 kilometers. So I did a few of those events. Now, around 2013 and 14, is when we met someone called Michael Lennick. And he's a German, he's a German who was in India at that point in time. And he introduced us to this whole paradigm of structured training. We had no idea about it, and he was sort of that, meeting him was sort of the defining moment in our cycling journey, in our cycling journey. And that's when the team sort of formed. This was way back in 2014. We had a bunch of youngsters at that time who were also getting started, and under his guidance, the team was formed. This was in 2014. We started with races in Bangalore. So Bangalore has this a racing calendar called Bangalore Bicycling Championship. So they have a calendar where they do pretty much one race every month. And I remember back in 2014 we did the BBCH Criterium. So that was the first race we did together as a team. Michael won that race. So basically, that's how the journey got started for us under Michael Lennick.
No, great. So today, as we speak, how big is the team?
So as of today, we are about five in the team right now, including me. So I'm the masters guy, and the rest of us are like, mostly in their sort of 20s. We have two guys who are, just out of college,
Mm-hmm.
and super strong guys. And as you mentioned in your introduction, they've been sort of representing or sort of racing at the national level. So recently we had the national championship held in Mumbai in the month of March, and we had Sudarshan and Makaran representing different states at the national level. So yeah, pretty strong guys who race at the sort of the top level of the sport in the country.
No, great. I think we need more such teams across the country to keep the spirit of cycling alive and to get that
Absolutely.
new bunch of cyclists up there, right?
Absolutely. I mean, these guys are really passionate about it, and that's that shows. So, I think I train under Naveen John, who's like the multiple national champion. We also have Makaran from the team also training under him. So they are like
Mm-hmm.
really committed about training, and they have some serious aspirations about sort of
Mm-hmm.
pursuing a career in cycling. So
Sure. So, Mahesh, let's get on to the next part of the topic where we want to just talk about a little bit about the COVID situation
yeah,
out here and how athletes are dealing with it. So, I do remember 2020 when I personally did a full marathon in 2020 February, the New Delhi marathon, and then from March the lockdown happened last year. And the second part of the year, there was a little bit of relaxation. You had some events happening. And
correct.
in fact, I went back to do the full marathon in Delhi this March, right? So it was one full year with a lot of disruptions. And I'm sure the cycling circuit also would have gone through the same disruptions. But uh, I believe the second wave, which has happened right from March or Feb, but obviously it has come into more prominence end of April and May, where there has been a lot of people suffering from it, and you have been one of them who have gone through it. So, what happened, and how did it happen, and what went through your body at that point of time?
Yeah, sure. So this was in March this year. So I had one of my uncles visiting me, and this was, like I said, in the middle of March, around March 15. And I remember I had a gym session on one particular day, and where I really pushed it. And in the evening, I started sort of, getting fever actually.
Mm-hmm.
But then I sort of, I kept thinking that it's probably because I pushed it in the gym. But the next day I realized, or I sort of got to know that my uncle tested positive. The uncle who was visiting me the previous day. And then that's when I realized that this is probably this could probably be COVID. Then I got tested, and I tested positive. So and then it got serious. For about a week, I was having all the sort of major symptoms. Like I was having fever, high fever, especially in the night. I had a lot of severe headache, weakness in general. So these are all like telltale signs of and symptoms of COVID. I had already started online consultation with a physio, with a doctor actually. Sorry, and
Mm-hmm.
we were sort of constantly monitoring my the SpO2 levels and all of that. But there was no improvement in that 1 week, and in fact, that my situation sort of worsened over a period of that week. And that's when the doctor said that probably I need to get admitted. My SpO2 levels had almost touched or sort of gone down to 90, which
Mm-hmm.
is which is like raising the flag. So that's when the online doctor said that it's better to get admitted. And this was towards the end of March when I got hospitalized, and
Mm-hmm.
then they administered the sort of remdesivir, drug.
Okay.
It's a
But
5 day
during,
course.
if you can just take a step back, during this period when you noticed that there was you tested for COVID and the initial phase where till the hospitalization phase, did you feel that the body was getting weakened, especially you having been working out, doing a lot of intensive stuff? Did you find the body not supporting you at that point of time?
Oh yeah, I mean, I was completely weak. There was, no strength in the body. To be honest, I was just mostly bedridden. I was pretty much on the bed the whole day and night.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, the body was, because I was also, taking a lot of medicines, mainly antibiotics, and I was sort of taking a toll on the body in terms of
Mm-hmm.
strength, in general. So I was mostly bedridden for that time. I was fortunate that I had my mom who also tested positive, but she was completely asymptomatic. So
Mm-hmm.
at least I had someone who was able to sort of take care of me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I said, I mean, the conditions just got worse. And eventually to a point where the doctor then said that hospitalization is the only sort of is the only course of action available. So that's when I got admitted to the hospital. So yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, to answer your question, I mean, I was, mainly because of the antibiotics that I was consuming.
Sure.
Yeah, I was the body was just completely
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
a mess.
And and was it a surprise that you got it? I mean, the most severe form of infection, and then
Yeah,
when you look around, you have been one of those guys who has been working out, healthy, doing those brevets. So
yeah.
was it a surprise to you at that point of time?
Uh, to a certain extent, yes, but I've always, I believe that health and fitness are two different things. You could,
Mm-hmm.
what I do is to, what I do mainly contributes to my fitness. The cycling and all the races, the training that I do is basically sort of contributing to my fitness. But whether I'm healthy, how good is my immune system? That sort of falls under the sort of healthy category. So I think just being fit, one shouldn't assume that you are immune or you have a better chance as compared to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So don't sort of make those assumptions that it gives you better immunity or anything of that sort. So yeah, to answer your question, I was a bit surprised, but I mean, I was once I got it, I was in no position to think actually. I mean,
Yeah,
it was pretty bad.
yeah, I agreed. And how many days was the hospitalization that you went through?
Yeah, I was in the hospital for 5 days. Like I said, I mean, they give you this drug, the remdesivir. It's a 5 day
Mm-hmm.
course,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I was completely sort of on saline, on basically IV
Mm-hmm.
fluids for
Mm-hmm.
the entire duration, and yeah. Uh, uh, After the fifth day, when I finally got released from the hospital, I had like my I was a zombie. I mean, I had no
Mm-hmm.
strength in the body. I was absolutely no strength in the body. And I remember for the
Mm-hmm.
first 3 days after I returned, I was sleeping for almost 15 to 16 hours a day. That's how weak my body was at that point in
Mm-hmm.
time. And also,
Mm-hmm.
I lost a lot of weight.
Mm-hmm.
This was because there was a general sort of loss of appetite. I was,
Sure.
yeah, I think I almost lost about 5 to 6 kilos in that sort of period of 1 week of hospitalization.
Mm,
So that also took a heavy toll. So in general, I
mhm,
had lost a lot of strength. The virus, the infection, the medicines I was consuming had taken a heavy toll on the body.
correct.
So yeah, so I was just completely a bit of a wreck
Mhm.
at that point in
So
time. So this
correct.
was towards the around the second week of April when first week of
Mhm,
April is when I got released from the hospital, and then
mhm,
for about 10 days, yeah, all I did was just rest up, stayed
mm,
away from work. I knew because my work is a little sort of mentally demanding actually.
Mm.
So I didn't want any of that stress to deal with at that point in time. So just completely rest up and focus fully on recovery, making sure I'm consuming or sort of hydrating well,
Mm.
making sure I'm having a lot of natural food, home cooked food. That's all that you need basically to get your strength back. And of course, over a period of in that sort of 2 weeks time, I was able to gain some of my strength, some of my lost weight back. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, this is very interesting because I was talking to a nutritionist yesterday, and I was just checking with her because she herself went through COVID, which was moderate to severe, and I was just checking with her. I mean, how did it feel, and what happened after that? And she was also explaining the same thing about losing weight,
correct.
and what she also said, echoing what your thoughts have been, that you lose appetite, and when you lose
Yeah,
appetite, you just don't eat, right? And
correct.
which aggravates the situation, right?
Absolutely.
uh, was it ever in your mind at that point of time, cycling, because it was a horrible time, right? And did it ever come to your mind that I'm missing out on something?
Not really. I mean, I was in such a state that it was cycling was just not there in my head anywhere. To be honest, it was just
Hmm.
I was like literally a zombie. There was nothing going on in my head. It was just like, how soon can I get out of this situation? Like, it was really
Hmm.
bad. I was like, I wanted to get back to being healthy. That was my number one priority. I mean, obviously, no one enjoys being in the hospital. It was no different for me.
Hmm.
So it was like, how soon or can I get out of this? Just kept my fingers crossed, kept praying that I get back to sort of regular health and life back at the earliest. That was all that was going through my head. Actually, cycling was far removed at that point in time, to be honest.
Great. So, when did you start getting back to some kind of physical activity? And
Yeah.
I mean, what were the thoughts at that point of time?
Yeah. So once I got back from the hospital, like I said, I had 3 days, literally 3 or 4 days, where all I did was just mostly sleep out, and
Hmm.
yeah. After that, once I started getting back into my senses, so to speak, I made a conscious effort to hydrate, start consuming a lot of fruits, a lot of
Hmm.
natural food, and I think it took about 7 to 8 days to get back some strength. I would say
Hmm.
I was about 50 to 60% of my strength back, and then that's when I started to think about cycling, because I had missed out on a lot of training because of the situation, obviously, and having done this for a while, you are habituated and you start thinking about getting back into that routine of training. So that's when and I, like I said, I train under Naveen. So I started having this conversation with him, like, so he was aware of my situation, and we then started talking about how soon can we when is the right time to get back on the bike. So it was almost on a day-to-day basis, we were sort of corresponding. So once I felt that I had a certain strength to get back on the bike. This was indoor
Hmm.
again, obviously, nothing there was, I think, we decided that we want to start off. If you're going to start off, it has to be indoors.
Hmm.
And like I said, once I realized that I have a certain amount of strength in the body, we decided to get on the bike. We did a short session. Obviously, I realized that my fitness has dropped down substantially. Like, even for the smallest of effort, my heart rate was just zooming off.
Hmm. To
uh,
get a,
so
to give a sense of what it is, I think you are a very data oriented person. I
correct.
think Naveen, you, and I'm sure you'll be looking at data. So, how much was the heart rate fluctuation
Yeah.
pre-COVID and
So
post-COVID?
Yeah, I mean, so in cycling, we look at something called as power, like power
Hmm.
numbers.
Hmm.
So, and you have zones both for power and HR, and usually there is a correlation. So if you're doing an effort which is like zone three, if you're looking at power, and if it's zone three, then your heart rate also would sort of be in that zone. So there's a
Hmm.
almost a one-to-one correlation between your power and your HR. But the first ride, I remember once I got back on the bike after I felt that yeah, let's see, let's get back into training. I remember I was barely doing zone 1 power, and my heart rate was in
Mhm.
zone 4. My heart rate was
Mhm.
almost 155, 160, which is, yeah, I mean, which is really, literally in my zone 3, zone 4,
Mhm. Mhm.
that area. So yeah, that is because the virus, it hits your lungs, right? So, and
Mhm.
I mean, your lungs is basically your cardiovascular system. It's your breathing, and if your lungs are affected, then it puts the sort of extra load on your heart. So your heart
Sure.
has to work a little harder, and
Mhm.
I could see that. I could very clearly see that. So it was function of both losing my fitness and the fact that the virus, takes a sort of affects your lungs.
Mhm.
So I could very clearly see that. So yeah, gradually we sort of increased the volume. We nothing crazy. It was just get on the bike, keep spinning those legs over the next
Mhm.
few days. But yeah, the situation was kind of more or less the same. My heart rate would still be in the sort of higher zones.
Mhm.
But yeah, this was in the middle of April, and yeah, gradually now I'm sort of getting back into table. The month of May has been good. I am now beginning to sort of see a fair amount of progress. I'm still nowhere near to what I was before I got sort of infected. But yeah, I know that it's going to take time.
Mhm.
The What is key right now is to just keep on training. Yeah, it is a little demotivating, to be honest, when you see that your power numbers are so sort of low. But you there is no other way. You have to sort of
Right.
be at it. Yeah.
Mm. But do you also monitor I mean, the way the body's moving ahead? Because obviously you're
True.
talking about lungs, heart, and it's
Correct.
always good to have a regular, I mean, check at point to point. Is that something
Yeah.
that you do?
Correct. So now, when I'm training right now, I'm listening to my body actually, to be honest. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like turning off all the other sort of metrics that I usually use when I'm training, like power, HR, and cadence, and all that. So it's more about listening to your body, see how far you can push, and just going by feel. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm not like really looking at power numbers, just listening to the body at this point in time. See how much the body can support me in whatever training that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Just listening to the body, getting that feedback, and then sort of accordingly adjusting the effort. So that's what I'm focused on. That's what me and sort of Naveen have. That's the way we are training at this point in time. Not really looking at power numbers. It's just sort of getting into that rhythm, and gradually sort of easing
Got it.
into it.
Got it. Now, so during this phase, it also is about people around you, right? Who would
Yeah,
probably think, why is Mahesh going back to cycling, right?
true,
I mean, it's such
true.
an intense sport, and I saw a video of yours, a reel of yours, where you were at a blistering pace
Yeah.
recently. Now, are there people advising you not to now go ahead with sport? Maybe take it a little light for the next 1 year.
Oh yeah, I mean, tons of such people, especially family members, as you would expect. But yeah, I mean, the key, like I said, is to listen to your body, and it comes with experience because I've been doing this for a while now.
Hmm.
So you have that instinct. You have to listen to your body, and your body does tend to send you signals, and you just react to that basically. So you know how much to push on a given day, how
Right.
much your body is going to support. So yeah, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
to answer your question, tons of people who are telling me, "Are you getting back into this? Why are you doing this?"
Hmm.
So a lot of people have been doing that, but also there are people like, I mean, one thing that has really immensely helped with recovery at this point in time is the support. Having a great coach,
Hmm.
working with that coach, and almost on a day-to-day basis, assessing the situation and then adjusting, and also having a team, which is almost like a family, and great support from those guys,
Hmm.
great energy within the team. So that also helps with recovery for sure. So having a great
Hmm.
support system, be it your team in this case, or your family
No.
members, or some friends, that
Mhm.
also certainly helps with recovery for sure.
Great. You did touch upon the aspect of eating right, having a lot of fruits, healthy food. Has there been any part of supplementation coming into the picture into the recovery phase, proteins, for example, or anything
Yes.
else that you think would be important for somebody who is getting back to doing their natural activity?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, some of the like I have been, like I said, I made a conscious effort to focus on recovery. That's why I decided to stay away from work because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want any stress at that point in time in my life. I focus a lot on hydration, and I think some of the your own products, Fasten Up products like Fortify or the multivitamin,
Mm-hmm.
Vitalize, all of
Mm-hmm.
that certainly went a long way. I believe in kind of help with recovery. I would consume anywhere between upward of 5 liters in a day. To be honest, I was
Okay.
actually making a sort of mental note of how much I'm consuming. So I wanted to make sure
Mm-hmm.
that I consume a certain minimum amount of water basically, and I would also use a lot of your own products, which I believe
Sure.
which I've been using for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and they've continued to sort of play a
Oh,
key role in,
sure.
especially now with the recovery.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So yeah,
No, I mean, perfect, Mahesh. I think we can relate to it because at Fastened Up also, because of this phase that we are through, there are a lot of people who reach out to us. I mean, during the COVID recovery phase, and in fact, you talked about hydration, and as we speak, in the last 3 weeks or so, we have been running this campaign where we are giving electrolytes to the frontier
yeah,
doctors, the paramedics, nurses, because on one side are the COVID patients and who recover. On the other hand, other side are people who are actually helping them out. And a lot of times what we have seen is they're on this PPE suit, fully drained, drenched,
yeah,
and they don't have a choice. At least at our
sure,
end, being a runner or being a cyclist, we have a choice to sweat, but they literally don't have a choice. They sweat because
yeah,
of the work that they are in. And
absolutely,
I think that is something that we have been doing. And in fact, people like you and a lot of others have wholesomely supported the whole initiative. And so
yeah,
that's something which I thought would be appropriate to mention, because we were on the topic
yeah,
of hydration, and things that will help you recover,
absolutely.
right?
I mean, it's so critical. I mean, hydration, and like I said, I mean, your products. I've been a big fan of them, and especially Reload. So I would sort of put in when I was hydrating, I would put in in the morning it would be Reload, and maybe in the
Mm-hmm.
afternoon it'd be Fortify. So consume all of that over the course
Mm-hmm.
of a day. So
Sure,
that's what I was doing, and they
sure.
really helped.
So, the last leg of the conversation, I just want to talk about it for the last, I mean, couple of minutes or so, Mahesh, is that what next? I mean, at the end of the day, maybe somebody like you is not a professional athlete, but obviously very
Sure.
much into the sport, and
Yep.
really look forward to yearly goals, planning for the next 5 years. Unfortunately, as we speak, Olympics is still not up there for certain. There is a lot of things going around Olympics. People who have waited for some sporting event to happen for almost their lifetime, and training for that for the next 4 years, and seeing that it has been postponed or not happening is obviously a different agony altogether. But for
Right.
somebody like you, I mean, how do you look at the next 1 year, and how do you keep yourself motivated? Because as an athlete, you still have to get up early in the morning and do those kilometers, right?
True. Yeah, I mean, for sure. There is, as far as we can see, there is no event in the horizon, right? So where does the motivation sort of come from? And to be honest, yeah, speaking personally, I'm a little bit driven. So I mean, I really have a passion for the sport. And I read a very interesting sort of quote the other day, which on the lines that the more you bleed during times of peace, the
Mhm.
less the more you sweat in the times of peace, the less you bleed in times of war. So that's sort of a great line. And Yeah, just because there are no events doesn't mean you stop training.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, events will come around. Uh, right now, we do not have the visibility, but the motivation really is that I have a passion for the sport, really driven, comes from within. Yeah, and that's what keeps me ticking actually.
No, it's great to hear that, Mahesh, because I think every person who is pursuing some form of sport is going through the same agony, mentally and physically,
Yep.
I would say. I mean, as we speak, we have both the Indian men's and women's cricket team off to a tour of England, and but then they have to do a 10 to 14 days quarantine in Mumbai inside a hotel room. And like you have the bike to go out and
Yeah.
cycle, their energy comes from the bat and the ball, and they cannot go out to the nets and practice
True.
that sport, right?
Yeah.
But yet they have to be up there doing some form of exercise or some form of training. So it is a valid thing. I think hopefully we will be out of it. uh,
Sure. Yeah.
are there any virtual events in cycling which happens? Because
Yes.
running, it happens all the
Yeah.
time.
True. There are some events happening. In Bangalore, I guess they do this virtual races sometimes, but there's no fixed sort of calendar even for that. Just someone sort of takes the initiative and puts out an event. But yes, there are some virtual events. There are virtual platforms that support that, where you can sort of get onto it and sort of race in the virtual world. That is also possible. There is one group, ISRT, I believe is the name of the group.
Hmm.
So they've
Hmm.
been very regular in sort of conducting these events, 3 hour time trials or 6 hour time trials. So that is now beginning to see a fair amount of participation. So
Hmm. Hmm.
that may be the next thing, Vijay, where
Hmm.
we're all sort of racing virtually,
Correct.
till the sort of situation turns around a little bit and
Mhm,
we sort
mhm,
of get
mhm.
to go out in the physical world.
I mean, the final concluding thoughts. You said you were at 100% of fitness probably prior to COVID, and you are getting
Yeah,
there, or you probably are on
true.
the journey to that. Uh,
Yeah.
what to what level have you reached right now?
Well, I would say probably around 60-70% of where I was.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's going to take time. That is, people sort of, like I said, it's a little demotivating, but
Mm-hmm.
you also need to acknowledge the fact that your body has been through a lot. And it's not going to, it's not like a magic wand, where you can get your fitness back. Uh, right away. So you've got to put in the
Mm-hmm.
work now, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the only way it's going to come around. So believe in the process, continue to keep training, and that's the only way you're going to get back to your pre-COVID levels.
Mm-hmm. So thank you, Mahesh. I think it's been wonderful chatting with you. Like your teammate, I guess Makarand Mane, just messaged on the conversation. Mahesh has been an inspiration to everyone in the team. Not just the team, I would say. I think people who have watched you over the last decade or so, I mean, can testify that you have been a role model when it comes to discipline, going out and
Yeah,
training hard. And I have personally been very inspired to see you, in fact, competing and also taking
yeah,
up a challenge where you started training under Naveen John, went for the goals. And I see some posts from NJ saying that you have reached from X level to Y level
yeah,
and within a certain period of time. I'm sure you will
yeah,
get back. But
yeah.
meanwhile, Mahesh, do keep sharing your journey towards recovery. It'll be of
Sure.
immense help to a lot
Yeah,
of people who are not gone through this journey of having COVID and recovering. So stay safe, stay healthier as you go along the path of recovery. Thanks a
yeah.
ton for getting back. And final thoughts to you. Final concluding points from your side.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And yeah, it's been an awesome journey, and yeah, I look forward to so much more. I mean, for me, like I said, the motivation is just I'm the happiest when I'm on the bike. That's what I look forward to. And during these times, these very challenging times, I think it's important to develop some sort of routine, especially if it includes a physical activity, even as simple as walking. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, being on the bike is what makes me the happiest, and I kind of look forward to that. I'm happy that I'm able to do this even during these very challenging times. So yeah,
Thanks, Mahesh. I
yeah,
think our series of interactions on Fast and Up will continue. That schedule will be put up from time to time. But thank you, everyone. Stay safe and have a nice weekend ahead. Thank you.
yeah.
Bye bye.
Thanks, Vijay. Thanks. Bye bye.